Assalamu alaikum. Today's topic is depreciation. The last lecture we discussed plant and intangible assets, fixed assets, non-current assets, intangible assets, and natural resources. When asset is being purchased and there is a plan to use it for a number of years, so there arises a concept of depreciation. We need to divide the cost or price of the asset over its useful life over number of years. कि जिस टाइम पीरियड में हमें एसेट से कुछ फायदा होगा इन द कमिंग ईयर्स उसी टाइम पीरियड के ऊपर हम उसकी कॉस्ट को डिवाइड कर देते हैं टू मेक इट कॉल्ड डेप्रिसिएशन। इसको हम कहते हैं डेप्रिसिएशन। और जब उसको एक्सपेंस हम बनाते हैं ओवर द नंबर ऑफ ईयर्स तो हर साल एवरी ईयर जो द एक्सपेंस विल बी रिकॉर्ड एज डेप्रिसिएशन एक्सपेंस इन इनकम स्टेटमेंट और जो एक्यूमुलेटेड डेप्रिसिएशन होगी वो बैलेंस शीट में शो होगी एंड दैट विल रिड्यूस द price of asset, that will reduce the value of the asset. Accumulated depreciation is also called as contra asset account. So depreciation का जो impact है that will be shown in income statement and that will also be shown in balance sheet. So depreciation का concept will make impact on both income statement and balance sheet. In depreciation, we have different terms. One is called book value, the value in the books. So, for the formula to calculate the book value is, remember, cost, the cost of the asset, minus subtract यानी कि accumulated depreciation. Cost minus accumulated depreciation is equal to book value. Accumulated depreciation क्या होगा? वो होता है one of the contra asset account, and that is the overall depreciation is accumulated, the added up. हम उसको ऐड करते जाते हैं हर साल के डेप्रिसिएशन को, तो वो उसे कहते हैं accumulated depreciation. It represents the portion that has already been allocated to expense. यानी कि जितना एसेट यूज हो गया है, जो एक्सपेंस अब तक आज तक बन चुका है, उस सबको जब ऐड करते हैं तो दैट इज कॉल्ड accumulated depreciation. डेप्रिसिएशन होती क्यों है? वक्त के साथ इन्फ्लेशन की वजह से, फिजिकल डिटीरियोरेशन और ऑब्सोलेसेंस की वजह से, वक्त के साथ टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज हो रही है, चीज़ें चेंज हो रही हैं, तो वो फिर दैट इज आल्सो कॉल्ड कॉजेस ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन. Depreciation, we have two main popular methods for depreciation. One is called straight line depreciation, and the formula to calculate the depreciation expense per year is cost minus residual value divided by years of useful life. Cost minus residual value divided by years of useful life. By this formula we will get depreciation expense per year, and this is being used for straight line depreciation method. To understand it better, we have a question here. For example, on January 1st 2003, this company, BAS company, buys a new boat, and they pay for the boat $24,000, and the residual value, the scrap value after its use would be $3,000. It means कि scrap में कबाड़ में भी ये बाद में सेल हो जाएगी $3,000 की after its useful life. Now we have to calculate depreciation by using straight line method. As we have just studied the formula cost minus residual value divided by useful life. Cost is 24,000, residual value is 3,000, and life is 5 years. You can see 24,000 minus 3,000 जब 21,000 बन जाएगा divided by 5, so it means $4,200 per year is the depreciation expense. So for this boat जिसने 5 साल चलना है, इसका 1 साल का depreciation expense है $4,200 per year. The $4,200 per year will be shown in income statement as depreciation expense, and that will also be subtracted from the boat cost, boat value from balance sheet to calculate the book value of a boat. If we make a proper table for the allocation of cost in number 5 years, so you can say You should also learn how to make and the format of this table. You should memorize the format of this table. You see the first column is year, time, 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 years. Depreciation expense, every year this is 4200, 4200, 4200, 4200. This is accumulated depreciation. याद रखें कि at the end of year we make a depreciation entry that is called adjusting entry. Remember, this is the adjusting entry. इसमें हम डेबिट करते हैं डेप्रिसिएशन एक्सपेंस को और हम क्रेडिट करते हैं accumulated depreciation को. That is why we have written here it is debit और ये credit. The 4200 डेबिट होगा और accumulated depreciation credit होगा by $4200. और अगर उसका हम बैलेंस करते जाएं देखें तो 4200 से 8400 it means इस 4200 में we have added the next year accumulated depreciation. Now the balance is 8400. Then again add 4200, it would be for 12,600. Again add 4200, it would be 16,800. Again add the fifth year depreciation expense $4,200. The total would be 21,000. तो जब हम 24,000 में से 21,000 माइनस करेंगे, the residual value, the salvage value is 3,000. और ये last column is about the book value. We also call it undepreciated balance. This is the book value. And how we get this book value? Remember, the cost minus accumulated depreciation balance. 24,000 में से माइनस करें 4,200, the answer would be 19,800. फिर हम इसमें से चाहे 4,200 माइनस करें या 24,000 माइनस 8,400, 15,600. 24,000 minus 12,600, answer is 11,400. 24,000 minus 16,800, the answer is $7,200. 24,000 minus 21,000, the answer is $3,000. And 3,000 is the scrap value, is the salvage value, is the residual value of this asset which is bought here. So this is the complete table. In exam, you also have to draw such table with the proper format. Remember the columns. Here we have 5 columns: year, depreciation expense, accumulated depreciation, accumulated depreciation balance, and the last is the book value, undepreciated balance. Book value भी बड़ी important है. This is the format to show the complete working of straight line depreciation method. And this is a very commonly used and mostly used method, straight line depreciation, to record depreciation for assets. Sometimes there is a convention कि जी आपने जिस year में asset purchase किया, we have to use it for half year. जिस साल में depreciation buy करते हैं, irrespective of the month whether we have purchased it in March or September or July, हम ये कहते हैं कि जिस साल purchase किया उस साल हम half depreciation charge करेंगे 6 months की. तो जो भी depreciation का expense आएगा, we have to divide it by 2 if the company is following half year convention. This would be mentioned in a question. Then you have to follow this convention, like you have to divide depreciation by 2 in the year of acquisition. हर साल में ऐसे नहीं करना, only in the year of purchase, only in the year of acquisition. इसी तरह से इसका प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चन भी है कि जब जिस साल में हमने एक्वायर किया उसको आप डिवाइडेड बाय 2 करेंगे 7,000 को, that would be $3,500. This is per year. Cost minus salvage value divided by useful life, $7,000 for full year divided by 2, $3,500 depreciation expense for first year of purchase if the company is following half year convention. The second most important method is declining balance method. In some books it is called reducing balance method, in some books it is called diminishing balance method, but all three have the same working: declining balance, reducing balance, and declining balance. Here it is called declining balance method. Declining balance, it means Depreciation in the early years of an asset's estimated useful life is higher than in later years. यानी कि शुरू में जो डेप्रिसिएशन होगी वो ज़्यादा चार्ज होगी। एसेट जब नया होता है तो उसकी वेयर एंड टियर या उसकी जो प्राइस में कमी है वो ज़्यादा होती है अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस मेथड। तो डिक्लाइनिंग बैलेंस में शुरू के सालों depreciation is higher in early years and in later years it is reduced. The dollar amount, the rate is the same. इसमें जो formula is remaining book value multiply by accelerated depreciation rate. It can be whatever the rate is 10%, 20%, 100%, 200 जो भी rate है उसको हम multiply करेंगे book value से। So in this way we calculate depreciation expense. The double declining balance depreciation rate is 200% of the straight line depreciation rate of 1 over useful life. डबल डिक्लाइनिंग का मतलब ये है कि जो स्ट्रेट लाइन से डेप्रिसिएशन हो रही थी उसको डबल कर देना है हमने। द स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड से जो भी रेट आएगा वी हैव टू डबल इट इफ द मेथड मेंशन इन अ क्वेश्चन इज डबल डिक्लाइनिंग बैलेंस डेप्रिसिएशन मेथड। सो हियर इफ इट इज 200% तो हम जो भी स्ट्रेट लाइन से आंसर आएगा उसको हम डबल कर देंगे 200% से कर देंगे। To understand it better, we can see a question here. For example, this company buys a boat 24,000, 3,000 salvage value है, residual value and 5 years is the useful life. We need to calculate depreciation by using double declining balance method. Data you can see on this slide. 24,000 जो है वो cost है, $3,000 is the residual value and 5 years is the life useful life. तो स्ट्रेट लाइन से अगर हम करते हैं 5 years तो इट वुड बी 1/5। इट मीन्स कि 20% पर ईयर 1/5 मीन्स 20% पर ईयर हमारी डेप्रिसिएशन हो रही है अकॉर्डिंग टू स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड। 5 years 1/5 मीन्स 20%। हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं डबल डिक्लाइनिंग तो इसका मतलब है कि 1/5 25% को हम डबल करेंगे दैट वुड बी 40% rate that would be applied for depreciation. As you can see on the screen, 24,000 multiply by 2 is the 200%, यानी कि डबल करना है into 1/5। जैसे भी मैंने कहा कि 1/5 means 20%। 20% को 2 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तो बन जाएगा 40%। तो 24,000 का 40% that is $9,600। It means कि in the first year पहले साल में the expense for depreciation, the first year depreciation is $9,600 and that is very high as compared to straight line method. तो डबल डिक्लाइनिंग बैलेंस मेथड में पहले सालों में depreciation is higher as compared in later years. So $9,600 that is the 40% of the cost, that is 24,000 that would be charged as a depreciation in first year $9,600. Second year में कैसे होगा? How we will do it in second year 2004? उसमें हम book value 24,000 minus 9,600 जो book value आएगी उसका 40% लेंगे। As you can see on the screen, 24,000 में से जब हम माइनस करेंगे 9,600 accumulated depreciation, the balance book value is 14,400. So in the second year we will take 14,400 into 40%. So this is the 40% of book value, that is 5,760. Second year means the depreciation expense is $5,760. This is the depreciation for second year. Third year में similarly the book value is 8,640 का 40% लेंगे। The 40% of book value is 3,456। 3,456 को जब हम 15,360 ऐड करेंगे तो हमारे पास accumulated depreciation हो जाएगा 18,816. And how we get this 5184? We can say कि 24,000 जो हमारी कॉस्ट थी, ये देखें, दिस इज द कॉस्ट, द बुक ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट माइनस accumulated depreciation 24,000 minus 18,816 is equal to 5184. और we can also say कि a book value जो पिछले साल लास्ट ईयर बुक वैल्यू 8640 minus 3456, the answer would be 5184. यानी कि for every year remember we will take 40% of book value not the cost. The book value जो remaining book value का 40% लेंगे for every year, और आखिरी साल लास्ट ईयर में we will simply माइनस कर देंगे salvage value, residual value, scrap value को from the remaining book value. So after 4 years the book value of the asset is 3110. 3110 में से जब हम माइनस करेंगे 3000 जो कि रेजिडुअल वैल्यू है, तो डेप्रिसिएशन एक्सपेंस आ जाएगा 110. तो इन द 5th ईयर डेप्रिसिएशन एक्सपेंस वुड बी 110 एंड accumulated depreciation का बैलेंस हो जाएगा 21,000 एंड द बुक वैल्यू वुड बी $3,000. अगर इस सब को हम टोटल करेंगे depreciation expense for each year, the total would be $21,000. Here you can see the declining trend, the descending trend. शुरू के सालों में in the early years the expense for depreciation is higher, 9,600, then 5,000, then 3,000, then 2,000, then 100. So this is the decreasing trend. In declining balance method, ये इसका characteristic है कि in the early years depreciation expense is higher and in the later years depreciation expense is lower. So this is the complete working, the complete table you have to make, you have to draw in an exam to show the working of depreciation by declining balance method. Remember, पहला है column year, second is computation, depreciation expense, accumulated depreciation, and the last is book value. Book value, the last में जो book value बच रही है, that is $3,000. That is the residual value as it is mentioned in the question. So this is the working for double declining balance method. Let me repeat it again. 2003, 24,000 into 40%, ये आ जाएगा 9,600. 9,600 ही accumulated depreciation होगा फर्स्ट ईयर में, पहले साल में. तो 24,000 minus 9,600 is equal to 14,400. This is the book value after 1 year. Now come for the second year. The book value is 14,400. इसका 40% लें, that is 5,760. ये 9,600 में जब हम दूसरे साल की भी डेप्रिसिएशन ऐड करेंगे, when we add 9,600 into second year's depreciation expense, the total would be 15,360. So after 2 years accumulated depreciation balance is 15,360. And for the book value calculation, 24,000 the original cost minus accumulated depreciation balance 15,360, the answer would be 8,640. This would be the book value of this asset after 2 years. Now come for the third year. थर्ड ईयर में सिमिलरली बुक वैल्यू है 8640, इसका 40% लेंगे, that would be 3456. 40% of 8,640 is 3456. 15,360 plus 3456 is equal to 18,816. After 3 years, total accumulated depreciation balance is 18,816. Again, 24,000 minus 18,816 is equal to 5,184. So we can say after 3 years, The book value of the asset is $5,184 if we are following double declining balance method. Okay, and similarly we follow the same procedure in year 4 or last year. Maybe we simply minus residual value. So depreciation is 110, total accumulated depreciation balance is 21,000, and the book value is $3,000. So this is the complete working for double declining balance method for depreciation. Remember, the total would be the same. हमने जो depreciate कितने amount को करना है, that is 21,000. Either we are following straight line or we are following double declining balance method. Whatever the balance method is, we have to depreciate $21,000. The total balance for accumulated depreciation should be $21,000. और फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट डिस्क्लोजर्स के लिए समटाइम्स कंपनी में वेरी फ्रॉम डिफरेंट कंपनी टू कंपनी, यूजफुल लाइफ डिफरेंट हो सकती है. इट इज मोर काइंड ऑफ जजमेंट. एक कंपनी को लगता है कि मशीन विल बी यूज फॉर 7 years, एक को लगता है 8 years. दिस इज मोर काइंड ऑफ अ जजमेंट. ये एस्टिमेट होता है. इसी तरह रेजिडुअल वैल्यू भी एक अंदाजा और एस्टिमेट होता है. तो इट मे वेरी फ्रॉम यू कैन से कंपनी टू कंपनी, और बिकॉज ऑफ ऑडिटर्स की जो मैनेजमेंट है उनके एस्टिमेट डिफर कर सकते हैं इसी वजह से. बट कंपनीज शुड फॉलो प्रिंसिपल ऑफ कंसिस्टेंसी कि जो भी मेथड यूज कर रहे हैं, आइदर स्ट्रेट लाइन और डिक्लाइनिंग बैलेंस, they should avoid switching and they should follow the principle of consistency. And sometimes depreciation rate is being revised, like you have started okay, this asset will be used for 7 years and rate would be this. After some time period you say कि जी अब इसकी लाइफ बढ़ सकती है या कम हो गई है, तो depreciation को रिवाइज भी किया जा सकता है. So that can be revised as well. So this is the complete topic about depreciation, straight line method and double declining balance method. You should remember and the format and the complete working of depreciation. Thank you.